Well, Fethard, County Tipperary is one of the most famous towns in Ireland, certainly from a racing and bloodstock point of view, home to McCarthy's Bar, Coolmore Stud and indeed War of Attrition. Winner of the Gold Cup in 2006, we're off to see him now to see how he's getting on in his preparation where he bids to retain his crown in 2007. Mouse Morris kindly let the At The Races cameras into his yard to exclusively film the Gold Cup winner on the gallops. Mouse, we've just seen the Gold Cup winner, War of Attrition, and his paces out there. He looks $1 million.
Yeah, everything has gone fairly right so far, so just have to keep the fingers crossed now.
And he looks good and fresh and happy in himself as well?
Yeah, he's a little bit too fresh, you know, so I have to give him a little bit more than I'd actually like to, but it's not a bad complaint, you know.
No, absolutely not. And compared to this time last year, Mouse, how would you rate his condition and how you feel he is looking back on last year as well?
He's certainly on par anyhow, you know. He hasn't had a bad race this year where he had one or two last year, you know, so even though he hasn't won, but, you know, he's been knocking on the door.
Do you feel, Miles, that definitely he's a much better horse in the spring? He was a March foal himself, of course, and do you feel that the springtime really brings the best out in him?
Well, he's certainly a good ground horse, you know, especially the way he jumps, and to make use of that, he just has to have the good ground, you know.
And you'd have no qualms. I mean, certain people knocked his form this year. He's been beaten a couple of times, but that wouldn't concern you in the slightest.
Not really with the way the ground was, but then he was beaten by, you know, good horses, like, you know. But Cheltenham is Cheltenham.
John Cummins is entrusted with the care of War of Attrition. I asked him what it's like to ride out the Gold Cup winner.
Strong, very strong horse, great moving, touch wood. He's in one piece and moving very well.
And he's a relatively young horse still,
is.
so he's probably just coming to his peak at this stage.
Definitely, we think he is anyway, so we're very happy with him. And he's fairly straightforward in that sense, you know.
He must have had a great thrill last year when he did, when he landed the big one that day.
Well, we had a few parties, all right. It was great. It was great for the whole town, the whole of Fethard, the whole country went mad.
And then followed it up then at Punchestown, which just as impressive.
Very impressive in Punchestown. He really had, even Conor was probably more impressed with him in Punchestown than he was in the Gold Cup.
What do you see as his dangers, John, this time round?
You'd have to be afraid of Kauto Star. Everyone is. Ruby Welch doesn't be jumping up and down out the saddle on too many of them, but he would be the main danger. But it's competitive, but they all have to get there.
Are you still reasonably confident?
I would be, yeah. I would be.
What strikes me about him when you see him at close paces like we did out there is that he's such an easy mover and he's got so much power.
Yeah, he's just kind of oodles class, you know, but he's, I suppose, what you call a daisy cutter, you know, which is the main reason why he wants the good ground, you know.
One disappointing run at Cheltenham in the Arkle, we just put the...
It was never on, you know. We had our hiccups along the way, and once you have the hiccups, you may forget about it, you know. And he made one mistake and it was history.
And we won't see him now again before the big one in March?
I have no plans to run him anyhow, you know, but unfortunately I have to look at him every day.
Well, he seems in tremendous order, and the lads who were riding him, he looks terrific and moved really well when he was out there today. So yeah. all things going well, he'll just keep him taking him over, will you?
That's basically it, yeah. You know, we have a great team there with Johnny and Una, you know, so I'll get the best. Needless to say,
Miles, Conor O'Dwyer has been instrumental in this horse's career throughout as well. And how big a part does Conor play in the organisation with War of Attrition and yourself?
Well, I think the first time we came down to school them over hurdles, you know, they just clicked and they were a unit. Just it was fantastic to watch it. And I think the fact that, you know, he didn't give him a hard race in the Arkle, all credit to him that, you know, I had a horse after it. It's the best horse I've ever had, is because he has boot and he has stays, you know, and he jumps.